What's up, guys? Back again for another week of Hit the Books here into week 6 of the NFL here. Crazy. We're flying through the season already. Got some wild card playoff baseball going on. Well, I guess it's divisional round now. Mackey's Mets on the TV as we're recording. No Huff and Jesse tonight as they are in Pittsburgh going to the home opener for the Pittsburgh Penguins as we have the NHL season upon us now and we have the NBA just around the corner. So just Mackey and I to take us through some of the games for this week in the NFL football slate, what we're looking at, how last week went, and a little bit of update around the other leagues as well. But Mackie, how are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, baseball is in full swing with they're in the NLDS right now, ALDS. Good series going on. Padres look good. Got the Dodgers on the brink. No, not a lot of people saw that coming. Obviously the Mets are looking good. That's why I'm wearing my hat right now. Um, could clinch that NLDS tonight actually. So looking forward to that. But other than that, looking forward to the NHL getting started. NFL in full swing and just yeah, just another week.
Yeah, like we said, getting ready to dive into some NFL here. But first, just want to call out we do have our NFL Sunday live streams that have been popping. Follow us on any of the social apps there. You'll see our posts on Instagram. That's where we get a lot of interaction, some good graphics. But if you go onto our TikTok, you can catch the live. The Rumble, you can catch the live. And on YouTube, you can catch the live as well. So tune in there with your fantasy questions, betting questions, day of. We love it. We got another London game here this week, so we'll be recording during that as well. But let's dive into last week a little bit. Started off with a bang with that Falcons Bucks game that went to overtime. Kirko Chains in Atlanta, he was swag surfing through for 500 plus and 4 touchdowns. Kind of screwed me over with that Bucks money line play, but that was a great game nonetheless. I mean,
You
prime
and
time's
you
been great.
And you love a good Thursday night football game too. Obviously, that division in the past hasn't been very good, but this year you got 3 teams rolling up there. So, obviously that was a good way to kick off week 5.
Yeah, and while we speak of Tampa, shout out to those being affected by Hurricane Milton. I know that's striking today. Hope everybody's listening is okay down there. We definitely hope for the best and hope that we can get back to normalcy down there kind of soon afterwards. But we'll see how that goes. A couple other big games on the slate. Not so big of a game, but my team's game. The Patriots lost a close one. I know a lot of people, Mackie included, live the Dolphins down the stretch, but we got Drake May coming next week, so that's all I'm looking forward to. But the first London game was pretty good. I don't know how much of that you caught, but Justin Jefferson and co grabbing the win against the Jets, who have sputtered quickly. I mean,
Yeah, Jets are kind of hitting. I heard Aaron Rodgers get on a you know how he does a lot of talking now. He said a lot of people are going to overreact after week 1. They got the week 1 loss, come back with 2 wins, and have an easy week 4. Yeah, week 4 against the Broncos, and obviously that ended up turning into a loss, 10-9 loss at home. It,
mhm.
it was a monsoon, I think, if I'm not wrong, but lost 2 straight now, sitting at 2-3. Not looking too good for that division. They obviously just fired Saleh as well. So yeah, those Jets kind of in shambles again.
Yeah, I know, and they're hiring. I believe it's Olbrich, the defensive coordinator, the head coach there. Not
Is he
Nathaniel
interim
Hackett.
or is
I
he
think he's
taking over?
interim. He just moved into that role. He's got to be
Yeah.
interim because he wasn't talked about much before. I know that Nathaniel Hackett was about to be fired by Robert Saleh before he got fired. So kind of some craziness going on there. And did you see they're kind of urging Hassan Reddick to come back on the field because they really need him.
At
So
this
that's
point, you have to, yeah.
I would say that division's kind of wide open too. A lot of people high on the Bills lost to 2 good teams. Like they lost the Texans here this week. They almost had that crazy comeback. You had the Texans on the card. Good hit though. I thought they were going to take care of business without Mixon once again. When the hell is he going to get back on the field? I hope it's this week. But the Bills now dropped 2 in a row to the Ravens and the Texans. So we'll have to see how they fare against some of the AFC elite. The Commanders looked great once again in a demolishing of the Cleveland Browns, who need to bench Deshaun Watson. But Jaden Daniels looking like he could win that NFC East, looking like he could win the Rookie of the Year, even push for the MVP. That team's fun to watch. And then the Jaguars grabbed the win as well. I don't know if you saw that. That was a pretty enticing game. Joe Flacco with that bomb to Alec Pierce late to make it close, but the Jaguars hold on and get their first victory of the season.
Yeah,
Any thoughts on those teams there?
Jaguars avoided disaster there. They're up 10 with like 4 minutes left. Probably should have closed that one out as it was, but they grabbed their first win. I think it's Trevor Lawrence's first win in like 11 starts. I think he ended the season on
Sounds
7
about right
straight
to me.
last year. So maybe he can get back on track here. They've had some close games this year, just not being able to figure it out. That team's not terrible in my opinion. So maybe they could string along a few wins here and make a push for that AFC South.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Trevor Lawrence would do with a valid O line. He's been getting crushed there in his time in Jacksonville. I know it's a tough excuse because not many people are dealing with great O lines, but I'm not throwing the whole book out on him yet. But I still got to see a lot more from him. But like I
Definitely,
said,
yeah.
Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud still rolling. Caleb Williams rolling as expected against the Panthers. The rookies really got going. The Broncos grabbed another win too. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, all on winning streaks of their own. Interesting teams there. I don't know. Who do you believe in the most out of those three rookie quarterbacks?
I'd have to say Jaden Daniels because I feel like he's carrying most of the load for that Washington team. You look at the Bears, that defense is playing really good. They're getting some close, tight wins. Caleb Williams is looking really. He looked really good last week. He's kind of finding his own, but he's not playing at the level of Jaden Daniels just yet. And Bo Nix, that defense over there in Denver has been
Carrying
absolutely incredible.
turnover free
Um,
football though for
say
Bo
again?
Nix. Turnover free football. It
Yeah,
seems
no,
he's
he
playing winning football.
I'm not hating on Bo Nix, but he's not doing what Jaden Daniels is doing. So I'll say Jaden Daniels. He's got to be a heavy front runner for rookie of the year as well. But I think he definitely has he surprised me at least. He surprised most of us, I think.
Yeah, the ship has maybe sailed on the time to place that wager on Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year. But one I'm still eyeing is the Commanders to win the NFC East, even though they have two other powerhouses near them. And the
Do you have the
Giants
odds on
team that's
that?
playing valid. I don't have them up in front of me. We'll see if you can grab those while I get into some of these next games here. But that end of that 4 o'clock slate got pretty crazy. Some 7 point underdogs. We said it on the live stream, taking wins outright on the road. The Giants going to Seattle and beat a good Seahawks team. I don't think they're very good. I don't think you do either. A
Yeah,
team that's been playing well to date, a good record for that Seahawks team. It's a tough place to play. They were without Malik Neighbors, without Devin Singletary, and they still won the game outright. 29-20 score with that pick six or block six, fumble six, whatever it was to end it. Fun game to watch there. I mean, Tyrone Tracy stepping up, Wandale Robinson stepping up, Daniel Jones playing good football. Crazy, crazy to see. No eye popping numbers, but he definitely looks like he has a starting spot in this league the way he's been playing of late. And now maybe they get Neighbors back in the mix and they can shake things up there in the NFC East. The four teams pushing for the division. But like I said, the other 7 point underdog winning outright was Kyler Murray, those Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what's crazier. I've been on the Cardinals all year. I said they're going to be pesky, and they've been giving teams runs for their money, and now they're winning one in San Francisco. But that 49ers team, I think they might have to sound some alarms there and see what's going on because CMC isn't back anytime soon, and they're dropping games left and right.
yeah. I was just gonna ask you, do you think that game says more about the Cardinals or more about the 49ers? 49ers are up 10 at half. I don't think they scored a point in the second half.
Yeah, I'm still going to say it says more about the Cardinals just because I think that team is going to push for a wild card spot. I think this is the Kyler Murray revenge tour. I know everybody's going to say wait until Call of Duty drops, yada yada. I saw some good ads from him playing that off, which is great to see in his mind too. But in reality, I think this Cardinals team is one to be reckoned with. They have Trey McBride, who's back healthy, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson. They have James Conner, who gets in the end zone. I think Kyler Murray's got a lot more potential than most of the quarterbacks in these leagues, actually. So I think they're going to be pesky. But yeah, that Niners team, I saw someone saying Shanahan on the hot seat. I don't think so. Do you think so?
Come on, come
Yeah,
on.
no
No,
way.
not definitely not yet. At least, I mean, that team's also still very banged up. You're missing your rock there with Christian McCaffrey. I'm not sure when he's gonna be back, but they definitely have some moves they have to be making. But going back to the Cardinals, I'm not very high on the Cardinals. I do kind of like Kyler Murray. He's growing on me a little more. He has a few weapons. He has Trey McBride, obviously Marvin Harrison. Like you said, James Conner finds the end zone almost every single week. That defense still scares me though, and the offensive line's nothing to rave about either. So no matter how good Kyler plays, he could still he could score 30 points a game and still end up losing the game. But I'm just not very high on the Cardinals.
Yeah, and then like you said, that Cardinals team around them, but they're slowly building. I think it's a good transition from what they were in the past. And Kyler Murray's a big play waiting to happen. You see him throw up that one on that touchdown run before he was even by some of the defenders 50 yards out. He can make up for that lack of a pocket, and that's what a lot of these teams are looking for now with these young athletic quarterbacks. But those Niners, yeah, like you said, banged up. McCaffrey on the schneid. I know they might get Ricky Purcell back here at some point. He's been starting to practice. George Kittle's been in and out of the lineup, dealing with injuries, but playing through them. Debo, same thing. Ayuk actually showed up on the scene last week, which was good to see. But if you watch that game, the Niners just kept begging to give that away, turnover after
Yeah.
turnover,
Mhm.
especially in the red zone. Jordan Mason kind of fumbling the game late. So interesting to see. And then the last two here, we got the Packers. They ended up winning that game against the Rams. That game got kind of scary at the end. I know we both hit on that. But I think the Packers are a good football team. Winning on the road is never an easy thing to do in the NFL, and they covered. So the Cowboys, though, that game started so late. Our two Yinzer friends who aren't here today were at that one, and they waited around just to see the home team lose another one there. We both predicted it with
Heartbreaker
the
too.
Cowboys. The Cowboys on the money line. We called it. Why are they plus 130 against the Steelers who can barely score points? I know it was in Heinz Field, but what do you think about that game?
I only watched the first half. I got late. I had to go to sleep. Got to wake up in the morning. But
Wow, your own team.
I had to, man. I had to be up early. But, I mean, they looked alright the first half. Dak just needs to relax on the turnovers, a few really bad plays, it's bad miscommunications. But at the end of the day, he comes up clutch. I didn't realize they scored with, like, what was it, 10 seconds left?
15 seconds left to
Yeah,
Jalen Tolbert.
yeah,
I
and
was
it was
excited to see Jalen Tolbert get involved. I think I said this to you when Brandon Cooks went down. I'm a big Jalen Tolbert proponent. I thought about drafting him in fantasy leagues at the beginning of the year, ended up cutting him, re-added him now, so wasted some moves, but still got him. I think he's actually a pretty athletic guy. And then Turpin as well. Getting guys like that the ball in their hands more, besides CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson, who are the rocks for Dak Prescott. I don't trust those running backs. I don't trust anybody else. Give them looks. They're big plays waiting to happen. And it's good to see that they have other options besides 88 and I believe Ferguson 87.
Yeah, you got that right. But,
No, Michael Parsons list too, right? Like you
Micah
won
Parsons list,
on the
no
road.
Demarcus Lawrence. Our other pass rusher, I forget his name.
What's that, Odighizuwa?
No, that wasn't his name. He was a backup. He came in, but he I think he like tore his ACL. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. He needs surgery. So we have no pass rush right now. Obviously,
Osa's been
Steelers.
getting through though. I kind of like him. I kind of like him on that D line.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm happiest about that win because I don't think the Steelers are very great. But
But
you know,
that's
you go
Steelers
into
football,
Akron, you,
and
you go into Akron Sherry Sunday night. Obviously all the weather conditions and everything, and you get a win. You can't really complain about that one. Dak came up clutch when it really mattered.
they were underdogs going to that one. But you got to think in a low scoring game like that or a one possession game, the Steelers at home find a way to win. Dak dealing with turnovers and stuff, but I don't care as long as you get the jobs done against the Steelers. The Steelers are going to harass your offense no matter what. If you can put up 20 points on the road against them, that's a good day. And
Yeah,
then on Monday Night Football, I can't. I sent you that prop list. I was going through my props left and right. A lot
yeah.
of them ended up hitting. Had a good night, but it's always the Chiefs, Mackie. Come on, Derek Carr over
You know, when
Patrick
you said
Mahomes.
that, you said against Pat Mahomes, I was like, "Yeah, I really hope this doesn't come back and bite me in the ass." But, Mahomes hasn't looked Mahomes-esque up to the
Hasn't had to.
up to that point, but, I mean, dude, last or Monday night, he looked incredible, and, I was definitely just sitting there. I wasn't even really that angry, I was just kinda sitting there like, "Shoulda known. I should not have
Three
unloaded on this
units
one.
on the
Should not have
Saints.
unloaded on this one." But, you know, you take your losses as it is, and you try to bounce back. We'll see how this week goes.
Yeah, and Mahomes thrown for 300 plus with a depleted cast. His passing prop that game was 230, and with Kareem Hunt stepping in, looking like rookie Kareem Hunt, running for wild, scoring that first touchdown of the game. I hit on that. Great to see him there. They have another week off to get things right in that offense, even more right. Juju steps back into the role, goes over 100. I mean, these are guys that I think would only be successful in Kansas City, and they are. And then what else always happens is that Chiefs defense that Steve Spagnuolo puts together, led by Chris Jones, they hold teams to few points. They're tough to play against. That's why Mahomes hasn't had to look great this year because that defense is so good, like they were in that Super Bowl run last year to go back to back. And Kelsey's starting to come to life too. So bye week coming up for them. I think they're going to come out firing on all cylinders. Saints, I think they might be on the outside looking in now.
3 straight
Yeah,
tough losses
them and
after
the
a nice 0-2
Bucks,
or 2
them
and 0
and
start.
them and the Bucks dropping games left and right, but that division will be tight throughout. But we got a full slate here for week 6 here. A few teams on the bye, but we'll start off with that Thursday night football game. It's a good one, I think. It's the 49ers and the Seahawks, two teams that are Niners looking to get back to 500 here. They're sitting at 2-3, and the Seahawks sitting at 3-2 with the 12th man here in Seattle. The Niners are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is sitting at 49.5. The Seahawks coming in at plus 155 on the money line. I bet you some people are looking at that because of the Niners of late. But I'm leaning on the Niners to get the job done here. What about you?
I mean, I do kinda like the Niners as well, but they've had a tough time against this division this year. Obviously, 7-point favorites against the Cardinals, you lose it outright. 6-point favorites against the Rams, you lose it outright, and they've had control of both those games late into the game. So, you know, they're finding ways to lose games right now instead of finding ways to win them. The Seahawks team, they could put up points. I know this is a tough defense. Divisional matchup Thursday night. It's in Seattle. I'm definitely not gonna be taking the Niners on this one. I do kinda lean on Seattle plus the 3.5 at least. But this is gonna be a good game. I think, these divisional games, no matter who everyone's playing, they're gonna be tight and, could be a shootout, you never know.
Yeah, that's what we say. We always think it's going to be, but these two tough defenses too in the same division here, playing it close to the vest. I think DK Metcalf's been having a good year. The breakout of JSN is pretty evident, and then that running back room of Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker looks really good too. Not too sold on Geno Smith, but he's getting a lot done with his legs, which is helping move the chains too. But coming off of a home loss to the Giants here, I just think the Niners are more able to right the ship. They know what it takes. I think both teams will be sitting at 3-3 after this week, and a lot of people will be wondering what's going on. Then the Niners take off of that division, especially when McCaffrey steps back in. and their first round pick receiver who got shot. But we'll see. This is going to be an important one in this division. I think Shanahan, with talks being on the hot seat, though, he's got to put together a good
Yeah,
game plan.
he's
Brock
still
Purdy's look good too.
he's
I
one of the
think.
best coaches in the league, if not the best. So I mean, he's got to kind of put his foot down at some point and just take over and just get this team back on track.
I'll tell you what, give Kyle Juszczyk the ball a bit more, and he won't be turning it over. That guy you can do anything with, Swiss Army knife. But Brock Purdy's looked good this year. Remember, I got that Brock Purdy to lead the league in passing yards
How's
ticket
that looking
sitting.
right now? I think he's like
Uh,
top 3, right?
yeah, I think he is. Him and Dak were the two I was looking at before the season started. I went with him, but
Dak's top 3 too.
yeah, Dak's a good one. Going into our next game, we got the Texans and the Patriots. Let me shout this out real quick though. Um, I had that Nico Collins plus 900 to lead the league in receiving. He's leading by over 100
Terrible,
yards going into last week. Gets a
terrible
nice
beat.
long touchdown to start it, and then he goes on the IR. So tough one there. I would have liked to have seen that cash, but the Texans are going into New England to play my New England Patriots here. They're favored by 7 points as Drake May is making his debut sitting at plus 280 on the money line. I'm seeing 260 on the money line. And the total sitting at 38.5. Seems pretty low for two quarterbacks we're
What's the
expected to
spread again?
be
Sorry.
7 points for the Texans here. 38.5 on the total. What are your thoughts on this?
See, I'm scared because I don't know what to expect out of Drake May, but, I do kinda
There's
lean on
no
the
O
Patriots
line
here.
though.
I think the Texans they're playing really tight games this year. They're finding ways to win games. I think they're sitting at 4-1, but they don't have any blowout wins, I don't think. Um, you can see the Patriots hang around, that defense has been playing pretty well. Texans just kinda make a lot of mistakes every single game. No Nico Collins obviously is huge. You still have Tank Dell, you still have Stephon Diggs, but I don't know, I think the Patriots can definitely hang around in this one, maybe even you've seen these heavy underdogs win outright.
Mm,
You can't really take anyone, no one's really safe this year. They won a 7-point underdogs in that week 1 against the Bengals.
mm.
Texans team kinda reminds me a lot of this Bengals team, they're just kinda on the other side, they're winning instead of losing those tight battles. Um, I'm gonna lean on the Patriots plus the 7 here, but way too many uncertainties with Drake May starting at quarterback. I'm not gonna be betting on this one.
Yeah, I think the only thing I like here is the over 38.5. But like you said, those heavy underdogs have been hitting this year. If you just take every underdog in the week, you'd be up a lot of money this
A
year.
lot of money.
But 38.5 is the total here. I think two strong quarterbacks. I think they're able to get it done. One thing that'll be tough to monitor for the Patriots, Jabril Peppers. I know he was like arrested the other day, so hopefully he's back in the game. But he's been one of our best players on defense. But we'll have to see there. Patriots got Ramondre Stevenson and Gibson at the two-headed snake. Maybe Drake May can get those young receivers going too. Kendrick Bourne made his debut for the Patriots last week. Jalen Polk's been looking pretty good. Tyquan Thornton, I know he's on the trade block. Maybe they'll get him more involved. Hunter Henry, one of the top tight ends on the year. I'm excited to see what they can do here. But it's going to be tough to stop that CJ Stroud offense, especially if Mixon's healthy. I think Mixon will have a big game if he's able to play. If he's out, gives the Patriots a better chance here because I'm not too worried about Akers. And then their secondary is their strong point here. Excited to see Gonzalez match up with Diggs, and there's no Nico Collins to worry about. So we're going to have to see Tank Dell. We have a good matchup there with Jonathan and Marcus Jones as well. I think it could be a lot better game than people think. I don't know if I'm going to bet anything on it. Maybe personally off the card, I'll throw a little bit on the Patriots here just because it's Drake May's debut. But like I said, I think there's a lot more points than 38.5 here this week. I think both teams are going to put up a few touchdowns at least. So that's my favorite play. Pretty low line for two, a game that could even be a blowout too.
Yeah, I just think the uncertainties with, Drake May, they don't expect that Patriots offense to get going, but
Yeah, Noah
I like
line.
the over as well.
Yeah, it's so low though. That's the only reason. Imagine you tease that over with something else. You're getting it like
You can get it down to 30 if it's a
y-
36,
that's
30 points,
crazy.
come on.
That'd be nuts. But let's move into our next one here. We should have started with this one actually. My Patriots popping up on my feed here first because they're the Patriots and they're favored on all
'Cause
my list.
they're at the
yeah,
they're at the top of your
yeah,
list, huh?
yeah. But going into our London game, we do have a 9:30 London game here. That Patriots game taking place at 1 o'clock. But the London game this week is Caleb Williams taking on Trevor Lawrence. Those Jaguars are always in London, so nothing new to them. But Caleb Williams, the rookie, they've been rolling right now, and this looks like a great spot on paper. But I am leaning on the Jaguars to get the job done. I think it's going to be a tough spot for a young team to go overseas and get it done. 2.5 points is the spread for the Bears. The Jaguars coming in at plus 110 on the money line would like a little bit more juice, and the total sitting at 44.5. Give me your thoughts on this one taking place in England.
I'm gonna go with the Bears in this one, and just because I know Jaguars are familiar with London over there, but, I think this Bears team is finding themselves. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Caleb Williams is actually slinging the football now, and he's making really good plays downfield. Um, and the NFL wants the number 1 overall pick to go over to London and get the win. I know they do. So you're gonna see the Bears defense show out. You're gonna see some struggles from Trevor Lawrence. I'm gonna go with the Bears in a tight battle, probably a low scoring one. 2.5. I think it could fall in between that 2.5. What's the money line sitting at? Probably like minus 135, minus 140.
Yeah, I got plus 110 for the Jags and minus 130 for the Bears here.
I think it's worth the juice there. I do. I think the Bears will win this one. I think it's gonna be really tight and a low scoring game, but I'm gonna go with the Bears here.
The only thing that makes me so weary that might not touch this game, I didn't end up touching that Vikings game last week. I want to take the Vikings and a Jets touchdown. I don't think he ended up getting in though. But this Bears Jaguars game, like a rookie quarterback going overseas. If this was in the states, I like the Bears here 100%. But it's just so uncharted territory. He didn't start too hot in his rookie season in his first game, so I don't know if he's going to be able to start hot over there. It's going to be a fun one to watch, though. They got their pieces on offense healthy around them. I actually like the defense the Bears have put together too. Jaquan Brisker is one of my rising stars that I've been a fan of. Tyreek Stevenson, someone as well. They have some other bigger names on that defense as well, but those two have caught my eye when I've watched them. But this Jags team, Tank Bigsby looks good on the ground, so maybe you mix him in more a bit with ETN. You get a little thunder and lightning. Brian Thomas Jr., how good is he? Is he one of the top young receivers in the league?
He's a dog, and he finds the end zone a good amount too.
Yeah, Trevor looks his way a good bit, and
He likes him. He likes him a
a
lot.
lot of people were surprised too because they brought in Gabe Davis. They have Christian Kirk. Evan Ingram's been in and out of the lineup. I think that's a big piece if they can get him back this week overseas. I would like to see him against this Bears defense too. If he's healthy, maybe that'll make me lean on these Jags and end up putting them on the card. But I think they can get the job done. Look for Brian Thomas to continue his strong stretch of play.
Gonna be a good game over there in London, though.
Yeah, back to our 1 o'clock slate here. Here's a fire matchup for you. Two of the most exciting quarterbacks to watch in the league right now. The Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders face off in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium. The Ravens are the heavy spread here, 6.5 points, and the total sitting at 51.5. The Commanders coming in at plus 230 on the money line. They're at 4-1 on the season. Can Jaden Daniels keep the good times rolling? The Ravens just played maybe the game of the year already against the Bengals last week. I can't believe we glazed over that one. My bad on that. But that Ravens game was insane. Lamar Jackson looked like an MVP the way he was playing late to get his team back in it, going for his third straight potentially, like Derrick Henry said. They fed the big man in OT after some crazy fumble and extra point misses. Zay Flowers showed up. All three tight ends were involved for the Ravens. They're firing on all cylinders. Do you have a different narrative on this Ravens team right now?
I mean, you know my narrative on this Ravens team. I don't like to really bet against them anymore since they've killed me the last 2 years. I do kind of underrate them every single game, but they kind of prove me wrong. So I don't know.
What do you think of the Henry Lamar combo? It's looked great.
Yeah, I mean, when you put Derrick Henry in that backfield, I mean, it's gonna work out, especially if he's gonna continue playing the way he's played his whole career. But this is a tough one. This is gonna really show
Big
a lot.
spread.
It's
Big
gonna
spread.
it's gonna say a lot about Jaden Daniels, and me and Huff said this last week that they were probably the most bet team of the week last week. They were -3 going or at home, I think, against the Browns,
Mhm.
and Jaden Daniels absolutely lit it up. They're heavy underdogs here. A lot of money coming in again on them. This is a really tough defense, though. It's a completely different scenario than last week
Mhm.
against the Browns. I think if he can really show out this game, it's just one of those rookie campaigns where you just can't really beat. So I'm gonna go with the Commanders plus the 6.5 here. I think it's gonna be a close game down to the wire. You're gonna see both offenses put up points. I mean,
Mhm.
Commanders don't have a great defense. Obviously, on the other side of the football, the Ravens have a pretty good defense. But
They should be better than they are.
there's just yeah, definitely. I know they got lit up last week. There's just not a lot of film on Jaden Daniels yet, and the way he's playing, it's just defenses can't really figure him out. He's putting up the points and he's doing what he needs to do. So I'm gonna go with the close game here. Probably a little more high scoring, but I'm gonna go with the Commanders plus the 6.5.
Yeah, and like you said, I think this might be the biggest test for Jaden Daniels to date. He's played Tampa Bay, he's played the Giants, the Bengals, and the Cardinals, and now the Browns. He hasn't played a true playoff team yet. I know the Bucks and Bengals like to think they are, but what's this going to be more telling for? The Ravens or the Commanders, or is this just going to be a battle of two good teams? I don't think this is going to be a prove it game for anybody. I just think it's going to be a great matchup.
I think it's gonna say a lot about this Commanders team, like you said, they haven't really
If they
played.
win,
No, just regardless of how the outcome comes out. I mean, if they could play this game tight, the Ravens are definitely one of the top 5 teams in the league, even sitting at 3-2. Um, it's gonna say a lot about if they're actually contenders up there, or they're just kind of beating the shit out of the lower pack
doing the
of the
job.
league. Yeah. Um, I think they're up there. I think that this team is kind of built for it. I think they have the weapons on offense. Brian Robinson,
Yeah,
I think his
Brian
name is.
Robinson Jr.
Brian Robinson, 2 touchdowns last week. He's finding the end zone.
Jeremy
Um,
McNichols touchdowns in back-to-back games too.
Playing good, obviously, and Terry McLaurin on the other on the outside too is playing great. So, I think if they can keep it going and, defenses don't really have an answer for them. I think it's gonna say a lot about if they can, make this a close game about how good this team really is. But if they get blown out in this game, I'm not gonna jump the gun on anything.
Yeah, and a couple other points here. So I think that Derrick Henry will have his way with this Commanders defense. That's going to be tough to see. I do like how Cliff Kingsbury has gotten Terry McLaurin involved. I'm glad you said his name because he was kind of quiet to start the year, and he's one of the most humble receivers in the league. I don't know if you heard any of his quotes. I heard it when they were I believe it was in the prime time or when I was watching their game the other day. Um, I heard the announcer saying he's like everybody's saying all these divas at wide receiver now. Brandon Ayuk want my money, want my targets, yada yada. He said he doesn't care. He hasn't played with a good quarterback there. He wants to win football games. He expects there to be growing pains with Jaden Daniels, and now everything's falling right into place. So that team's been fun to watch, but the defense has been a little tear here, holding the Browns to 13, the Cardinals to 14. But the Ravens present a much tougher task here. They gave up 33 when they played the Bengals in Cincinnati. The fact that this is at M&T Bank Stadium too gives me a lot more confidence. The 6.5 number makes me not want to touch it, but I do think the Ravens get the job done. Like you said though, those big underdogs have been giving people trouble. Let me throw this to you though. Even if the Commanders drop this game or get blown out, I think they're fine because listen to their upcoming stretch after this. The Panthers at home against the Panthers, home against the Bears, then they play the Giants and the Steelers before they play the Eagles and the Cowboys. So I think that's 4 in a row they could rattle off even if they drop this one here.
I think they have a great chance at winning this division too, especially on a pretty down year. Cowboys don't look the same. Eagles definitely don't look the same. This they look the strongest in the division. So being a Cowboys fan, we used to always look at the Commanders on the schedule and just be like, all right, chalk up 2 wins, and that's how it's been for the past 3-4 years.
Mhm.
But this is definitely not a game to look over anymore, and they could definitely make a run for this playoffs, especially with that schedule coming up. Sitting at 4-1 already, you could be 7-2 before you even play the Cowboys or the Eagles.
Yeah. What about those Ravens now? Let's give them a little bit of gas, getting to the top of that AFC North now. It seems like they have the game of the week every week almost. They're always in a great matchup. Um, I know that even that Cowboys game where they beat you guys, they got good late. The Chiefs game, the Raiders game, every single one they've been in this year has been super close. So has potential for game of the week. I could see Lamar and Jaden Daniels getting after it, and potentially the winner of this can grab an MVP. I know Lamar already has two, but he's a regular season hero, so he could go for a third as well. And Jaden, the front runner right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, realistically, the Ravens could easily be 5-0 right now. Obviously, that shitty loss to the Raiders week 2, they
mhm,
never should have lost that game,
blew
and they
that.
were about a half of a toe away from beating those Chiefs as well. So, they could be 5-0. They're sitting at 3-2. They're not upset about where they are right now, especially how the season started. But I mean, there's no reason to give these Ravens their flowers. Everyone knows that they're a top team in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. Keeping it moving here, we got another AFC North team in the 1 o'clock slate as they Cleveland Browns go into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The Browns coming at almost double-digit underdogs. 9.5 points favorites are the Eagles in this one at home at the link. The total sitting at 42.5, and Cleveland coming in at 360 on the money line. My eyesight deceived me there. I thought I saw 380, but 360 on the money line there. 9.5 point spread, probably the biggest underdog of the week. Um, can Deshaun Watson get it done? Is Deshaun Watson a real quarterback? Nick Chubb's not playing yet. Mark Cooper, I don't know. That Browns team just looks sluggish. The defense isn't carrying like they should be. Um, Eagles coming off the bye too. This is a good
I
spot for them.
I really think you're gonna call me crazy. You're just gonna call me a Cowboys fan. I really think it's a great buy low spot for this Cleveland
I
Browns
thought so
team.
too. I honestly thought so, but you want to know what gives me no hope almost though? The fact that the Eagles are at home one, but coming off of the bye.
Yeah, but they have their struggles as well. And if momentum's not going, it's just not going. They're not gonna figure it out just 'cause they had a bye week and they had time to put game plan for
They
this
can get
game.
healthy though.
Could get healthy. Is Lane Johnson playing?
Not sure about Lane Johnson. I was more concerned on the wide receivers here. Let me see.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, you definitely need him. No, you definitely need him too. I mean, he's a probably bigger piece, but I was saying I've been looking into the receivers personally. Let me see. AJ Brown, he's fully active. That's a good one to see. Devontae Smith, fully practiced Wednesday too, so they're gonna get the both of them back. And let's get a
big.
quick update on Lane Johnson here.
It's big. Player
They
look
needed
good.
both of them. Lane Johnson, yeah. Give your take on this game.
Yeah, I just think it's a great buy low spot. I know with these heavy underdogs, a lot of them have been winning outright. I'm gonna say it's worth a sprinkle on the plus 9.5. What are they sitting at money line? Probably plus
Plus
three,
360.
yeah, 350, 360.
But no, Lane
So
Johnson, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith practiced in full.
okay, so that's big news. But I'm not. I just think that there's a lot of problems going on with that team. Nick Sirianni's had made some terrible decisions this year. Jalen Hurts doesn't look like Jalen Hurts. He's turning the ball over a lot. Could be a really good buy low spot for this Browns team. I know they're playing like shit. Deshaun Watson maybe can figure something out this week. I know it's in Philly, not an easy place to play. Not gonna give up complete hope on that team just yet. Give me the Browns plus the 9.5.
I don't want to give up hope on the Browns either. And initially looking at it, I thought the same thing, but I'm sold on the Eagles here coming off of the bye week. Massive. I think that getting back their top two receiving threats, massive. Getting back Lane Johnson, massive. That bodes well for Saquon Barkley, who looked like an MVP candidate the first few weeks when they were all on the field, too. I still think the Eagles are a good football team. I still think they're a playoff team, too. Need to get this one at home. I think that Deshaun Watson loses this game, maybe heads to the bench. Maybe this is the time we see Jameis Winston is right here in this one. 9.5 point spread though. I don't know if I'm taking that. It's kind of crazy to me. Maybe a Deshaun Watson turnover. I mean, did you see that clip of Deshaun Watson walking off the field when his coach wanted to go for it on fourth
There
down?
was there was 12 men on the field.
Yeah, but still, yeah. I guess there's
That's
been the
it had
fake
to.
news. That's some fake
Yeah,
news.
yeah. There was 12 men on the field. They couldn't snap the ball.
I was gonna say, but that just tells me like the mindset. Whenever you talk to a Browns fan too, the mindset behind Deshaun Watson, he doesn't have the fan base around him. It's hard to imagine he has the locker room behind
Nobody
him.
has faith. Nobody has faith in him. I mean, there's no way any of his
There's no way
receivers
he has
play
faith in
still.
himself, though. That's why he's not playing that well either. So I'm not too high on this Browns team. I think there's potential for that to be a blowout matchup there for the Eagles. I could parlay the Eagles with the Ravens here and just take two big underdogs and maybe play that one out. But those underdogs have been cashing all year long. But going along to another 1 o'clock game, got a few more on the slate here. The Cardinals and the Packers, pretty fire matchup. I'm big on Jordan Love. I'm big on Kyler Murray. Taking on in Lambeau Field, the Packers coming in at 5 point favorites, and the Cardinals almost at plus 200 on the money line at plus 195. The over under sitting at 47.5. I'll start this one off here. I think I like the Cardinals with this value. I thought the Packers could push for this division. I think they still could, but the Vikings really holding their own, scaring me. And now the Bears are relevant too. I don't know if I'm going to card either of these, but that's just a lot of juice on a Cardinals team that's riding high. Kyler Murray's looked good. Maybe I like the over more than anything. I think I always like the over in Cardinals games, but I'd like to see Jacobs and Connor find the end zone. I think Marvin Harrison gets going after a quiet week because the last time he had a quiet week, they fed him. And then the Packers on the other side, Jaden Reed's a world beater. I know they were without Dobbs and Watson last week, but Jaden Reed and Josh Jacobs carrying the load big time. Oh, in that fantasy superstar, if you added him, you found gold. Tyler Kraft, I believe. He's been uh,
Craft.
jumping onto the scene, back-to-back touchdowns last week to give them the lead over the Rams. One of them being a long touchdown. Now that I'm talking it up, I'm starting to lean towards the Packers a little bit more. I'm not
Talking yourself
taking a
into
side.
it.
Yeah, not taking a side here. I think five's a pretty good number too because they're trying to entice you with that Cardinals money line. But I like a lot of points here. I think this is going to be a fired up matchup where two teams have a nice shootout in Lambeau in the 1 o'clock slate. But let me hear what you think about the Packers and the Cardinals.
I'm gonna go with the over as well. I think both teams kind of find ways to put up their points this week. I think the Packers defense get a few more stops. I do like the minus 5.5, 5 points, whatever you said it was. I like the Packers in this spot, especially in Lambeau, not an easy place to play. But I'm not gonna be betting on that one. I really like the over though. I think both offenses get something going at least.
Yeah, I think both these teams can push for the wild card. 3-2, the Packers are sitting at, and the Cardinals are at 2-3. I think a double touchdown parlay with the running backs would be a good thing to look at. Cardinals win this one. They're sitting 500. The Packers. I think that'll be massive coming down the stretch because I
Going
think
four and
later in the
two.
year they're both going to be going for the wild card. But that'll be a fun one to watch. And then we got a slugfest here. I think they've already played each other this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Bucks and the Saints.
No, but Bucks played
No, they haven't played each other. They
the
played the
Falcons.
Falcons. That was
Yeah,
their divisional game.
they
But
both played the Falcons.
these two teams both in dire need of the win. I'd say the Bucks at 3-2 and the Saints at 2-3. The Saints are home dogs here at plus 155 on the money line, 3.5 point underdogs. Baker and Co at 3.5 point favorites. The over under sitting at 41.5. We saw the Bucks play a great football game that they couldn't close out on Thursday Night Football. Now they get another divisional bout on the road in New Orleans. I think I like this. I like the Bucks here to maul, doing it for the hometown while Hurricane Milton's slamming. I think Chris Godwin and Mike Evans continue their dominance. they're going to continue to eat through the air. So if you like props and you have them in fantasy, fire those up. Fire up those Godwin Evans props. I hit on the Evans touchdown the other day. That's because they don't have a true running game. They're trying to figure it out themselves. Bucky Irving fumbling the ball. Rashad White banged up and not looking very productive. Keaton being decent, but it's really just the Mayfield, Godwin, and Evans show. Meanwhile, I think the Saints are sputtering. I don't like Derek Carr, what he's been doing. I don't think he's very good. I think Shaheed's been the lone bright spot for that team. And I guess Kamara too, but you always expect that. Give me the Bucks here minus 3.5. I'm going to buy that half of a point to 3, but I think they have a strong game here.
I'm gonna be with you on this one. I do like this Bucks team a lot more, especially the Saints team on a 3-game losing streak. Hasn't looked the same since those first 2 blowout wins. Derek Carr came back to life. We've seen that a lot. But I think it's gonna be a pretty good game. I just think you're gonna see Baker at the end prevail. I think he's gonna find ways to put points on the board while Saints have drives that are just kind of stifled and they can't figure it out. At the end of the day, I think Baker's gonna prevail, and he's been playing really good this year. Probably a top 5 quarterback for the season.
Mhm.
I like this Bucks team. I think they need this one big. Go to 4-2 in this division, and I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, and one thing that's going to be tough to monitor though is if there's anybody you can get under Mike Evans' skin, it's Marshawn Lattimore. So that could be bringing some fireworks on us. He's having another career year. Mike Evans is one of the more underrated top end receivers in my opinion because he's always getting the job done. Like Johnny Manziel said, if I had one guy to throw a touchdown to, it might be him. Um,
They did play Texas A&M together.
yeah, no, I know, I know.
I think it was a little
No,
biased,
yeah,
but I
but
do love Mike. I do love Mike.
yeah, I just saw that today. I was just like, yep, I remember them being sick there at Texas A&M. But with the Colts and the Titans are our next game here, another divisional matchup, last 1 o'clock matchup of the slate. Probably the boringest game on the slate, especially if Anthony Richardson's a no go. But I saw a lot of people saying they think he should sit for the rest of the year behind Joe Flacco and learn. Joe Flacco's just productive wherever he steps in. He looked great again last week, although in a losing effort. But he's putting up 34 points a week at that age. Good supporting cast here. You have Michael Pittman Jr., you have Alec Pierce, some good tight ends, a great running back, a decent defense. Defense a little bit weaker than it should be. But going into Tennessee here, they're at 2-3, and the Titans are at 1-3. The Titans coming off the bye. So I believe Will Levis is still at the helm, not Mason from Rudolph, as he was able to get healthy there after playing in the prime time and losing. The Colts are underdogs here, though. They're at plus 110. Titans minus 2.5. I love that plus 110 for the Colts here. You might see that on my card. I'm a believer in these Colts. I think they get to 500 and push for a shady wild card spot that they don't end up getting, but I think they're going to have a close to 500 year, and it'll be another win here this week. Total sitting at 43.5. What do you think about this one, Mac? The AFC South bout.
Yeah, I know it was against a really shitty team in that banged up Dolphins team, but I said I'm not going to bet on Will Levis until he finds out a way to win a football game. But he won a football game, and this team could easily be 3-1 right now, barring some really stupid mistakes made by Will Levis. I think he's kind of figured it out. He's playing decent football. I do kind of like this Titans team this week. That you said they're underdogs or they're
No,
favorites.
the Colts are underdogs.
Ooh, that's really tough. Um, Joe Flacco plays, I do like the Colts a little bit better. I'm not gonna have a play on this one, but I do kind of like this Titans team. I think they're playing good football. Tight games in and out, coming off the bye week. Divisional matchup. I'm gonna go with the Titans here.
Yeah, I just don't like what the Titans have around I don't like Will Levis in general. Don't really like what they have around them either. Calvin Ridley and D Hop being the only true pieces. They have a better defense than the Colts. I know they got some young guys on that D line that are starting to step up. The Colts at plus 110, though. I like Richardson more than Flacco, but I think Flacco's
No
very
way! Come
solid too.
on,
I just like Richardson's
Richardson is so
ceiling.
stupid, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
he makes great plays, and then he'll just turn the ball over like
I'm just so intrigued by the ceiling he has, I guess, but the floor is pretty low too. Joe Flacco, meanwhile, you know exactly what you're going to get, and I think he could beat this team. I think the Colts are a better team all around. I think the Titans are not. I think we could see Will Levis end up getting benched again or injured for Mason Rudolph if he continues his poor play. But I don't think that'll be the most exciting game of the 1 o'clock slate. What do you think? Over 43.5 or under there? You think it's
I'm
going to
gonna
go
go
off?
under here. I think there's minimal points in this game. I think both teams have a few turnovers. Um, and maybe even in the red zone, so there's some good drives that end up with 0 points. But I think it's a divisional matchup. Two teams that aren't really proven yet. I'm gonna go with the under here.
Yeah, and kind of similar to the Andy Dalton scenario in Carolina, when Joe Flacco's at the helm, let's fire up those Indianapolis Colts wide receivers, Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce getting life breathed into him. Because he doesn't really have a true rapport with anyone, so he's just going to spread the ball whoever's open and get it to that top dog. But let's get into our 4:30 slate here. We got how many games we have in the 4 o'clock slate? We have 4 this week. 4. Starting off with another divisional matchup: the Chargers and the Broncos. Chargers coming off the bye, sitting at 2-2. Up and down first half with their new coach. A lot of new roster too. Not too much talent around Jay Herbo. A lot of people writing him off as a sub top 10 quarterback now. Meanwhile, the Broncos are riding high. I think they're on a 3-game heater. Bo Nix turning into one of the rookie stud quarterbacks. Had that altercation with Sean Payton on the sidelines. A lot of people love seeing him fired up. Javonte Williams got going again last week. That defense is just clamps. Pat Surtain, what a dog. They're just keeping everybody out of the end zone. But the Chargers are favored here by a field goal. 3-point favorites sitting at plus 100. Meanwhile, the Broncos are at home plus 130, and the over-under sitting at 35.5. I'll start off that I think that I like the over here. I think that's so low. Maybe you tease that and the Patriots over, and you're not asking for many points. Um, but it could be played closer to the vest here. I took the over in the Broncos game last week, despite their defense being lights out, and it did end up hitting. Do you think Bo Nix can keep the good times rolling? I don't know if I'm going to touch a side in this one. I can't buy in on these Broncos because I truly don't think they're very good. But I don't want to bet against that defense right now.
I do love the Broncos in this game. I really do. You know how I feel about this Chargers team as well. But 3-game winning streak riding high. That defense has been playing incredible. I think Justin Herbert's gonna have a really tough day, especially with that pretty weak O line in front of him. I think Joe Wallace is he
Still
playing?
out? I mean, they're coming off the bye, so I'd assume he's back in the
Okay,
mix.
yeah. I'm just not high in this Chargers team. I think it's a divisional matchup. You're going into the Mile High, not an easy place to play. This defense has all the confidence in the world right now. Bo Nix on a 3-game winning streak. I think he has all the confidence in the world right now as well. Gonna be a really. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm not. I'm not. I don't really love that teaser in my opinion, but obviously not a lot of points, so it could
Mhm.
still hit. But I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. I think it's a divisional matchup, and Bo Nix just kind of riding high right now and finding ways to win football games.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh and Peyton, that's a pretty good historic coaching matchup too. I think that'll actually be a pretty tight game. Won't be my favorite one to watch, but right when we get out of those 1 o'clock games that have been crazy, maybe that Ravens Commanders game, you'll see this one on your TV kicking off. And I think it'll be close throughout. So can't go wrong with either pick there, but I don't think I'm going to put either on my card. Wouldn't be surprised to see Huff put that Broncos money line on his card. He's been high on him, called a shot last week, and they easily covered. And speaking of
Yep.
Huff, him and his Yinzers got the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas this week. I think this might be a good spot for them to right the ship, but they're 3-point favorites going into Vegas. I've seen Vegas beat a much better team in the AFC North already this year. The Steelers sitting at 3-2, the Raiders at 2-3. Who you leaning on here? Raiders getting plus 145 on the juice. Over under sitting at 36.5. They think Crosby and Watt and co will be able to shut down these weak quarterbacks, but what are you thinking? I think that Fields is going to have a good day.
I don't know.
Running.
I'm feeling the Raiders in this one. I really am. I think or the Patriots. I think the Steelers are coming back to life after a 3-0 start. They've lost 2 straight. Russell Wilson is almost a full participant at practice now. I think Justin Fields feels that breathing down his neck. Could have a rough day. I know the Raiders defense isn't anything special, obviously, but Max Crosby can get to him a few times. Maybe lose his confidence. Maybe make him fumble the ball once or twice. Raiders offense finding ways to kind of put up points. I know they put up 16 last week against a really good Broncos, or 18 last week against a really good Broncos defense. No Devontae Adams kind of scares me. I'm not gonna have a play in this one, but I do kind of lean on the Raiders.
Yeah, it's something I keep going back and forth in my head. I lean on the Raiders too. I don't know why because I honestly don't know how Gardner Minshew is going to put points on the board against the Steelers defense. I honestly don't know how they're going to do that. What are they going to throw it to Brock Bowers every play? Maybe that's what they have to do because he's looked like one of the best tight ends in the league. But I think Justin Fields has a good day in a losing effort here. I think he gets George Pickens very involved. I think he gets involved on the feet too. I think Jalen Warren's out again, so you hate to see that. They don't really use Fryermuth. Boswell's leg's going to be going nuts once again. He hits field goals almost every game. Um, but I don't know. I think Justin Fields has a solid fantasy day. I'm streaming him for Patrick Mahomes, who's on the bye this week. But I think the Raiders can find a way to win a low scoring bout. But every time I say that, low scoring bout, that's a Steelers dub written all over it. Staying away for sure. Yinzers will probably have this on their card with the spread. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Steelers win here, but they're not a good team, so I could see them fall to 500.
Exactly.
Much better game here in the 4 o'clock slate. Potential for best game of the day as well. Should be a projected shootout between the Lions and the Cowboys. Your Cowboys coming in at plus 140. Home underdogs. I love that. And the Lions are -3 here. Over under sitting at 52.5. So the Vegas is expecting a shootout just like I am. Jared Goff riding high. Dak Prescott coming off a massive win. The other thing is the Lions are coming off the bye, though, so Dan Campbell schemed. Gibbs and Montgomery are ready to go. Laporta ready to go. Maybe they get him more involved. Amon Ross looked good. I like the Cowboys here, though. I think they're going to win another game. I think the Cowboys are. I overrate them maybe in my head, but they keep winning games here. They're sitting at 3-2. I think they have a chance to press for the division still. People call me crazy for that take, But Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, especially in today's landscape. I think he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, and a lot of people might debate me on that. But I'm going with the Cowboys at plus 140 here. Give me the ins and outs on this game here. Your team taking on a great opponent in the Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys and the juice here too. I took them earlier today, and I think the line's probably gonna drop a little. You could see it down to maybe 2.5. Cowboys already lost 2 games at home this season. Rough start. But I think they're gonna get back on track here. I know the Lions are gonna get there. They're gonna put up their points, especially with I'm not sure if Michael Parsons is out this week. I know DeMarcus Lawrence is out on the other side of the football or on the other side of the line. But I think the Lions are gonna put up their points like they always do. I just think Dak's gonna find a way to get his as well. I mean, he's finding his way with this offense. Rico Dowdle kind of came into that spot as the number one running back. Got 20 touches last week. Um, maybe a big CD Lamb game. There's definitely going to be points in this game. I'm going to go with the Cowboys at home though. I think they get the job done. See a big game out of Dak. I really do think so.
Yeah, and let's see. I got the latest updates on Michael Parsons. He opens the week as a did not participate in Wednesday's practice here. He's week to week with a high ankle sprain. We'll see extended playing time. Parsons absence after primary backup Marshawn Nealand was placed on injury reserve. That's who you're referring to
Yeah,
earlier in the
yeah,
cast.
Nealand, yeah,
Yeah, Nealand injured, and
Land, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. See you, bud. But yeah, they would like to get Parsons back in the mix with him sitting out practice. I fear he's gonna miss this game again. Like I said, I like that juice on the money line there. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as well. Expect for CeeDee Lamb to have another big game. Jake Ferguson to have another big game. Jalen Tolbert have another big game. Those are the three guys I've been riding props on last few weeks on these Cowboys, and I think it's going to continue because they're not running the ball, so you know Dak has to get it out. There's going to be a lot of receptions. I'm just high on what the Cowboys have cooking. I think Dak and Cole will be able to get it done. This has potential for a shootout, though. It's got to be a lot of points, right?
You gotta assume so, especially with the weak pass rush the Cowboys have right now with the injuries. I think both teams are gonna find theirs.
Is Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery finding the end zone this week?
I hope both of them don't, but you gotta assume at least one of them will.
Probably both. They always do. Maybe Laporta gets going. I don't know. He's had a tough start to the year.
Yes,
Amon Ra, you
Amon-Ra.
guys have that good secondary. Maybe they can compete with him this week. So we'll have to see. I'm going to be watching this one. That's America's game of the week, I believe. Sunday, 4:25 on Fox. That'll be a great one. Last 4 o'clock game of the slate here. Another divisional matchup. I don't think we need to talk too much about this. The Falcons are 5-point underdogs. No, they were 4.5. They opened up at another 6-point favorites. The Falcons, 6-point favorites in Carolina. The Panthers sitting at plus 220 on the money line, still with Andy Dalton at the helm. The Falcons Panthers game set to go for over 46.5. I don't know about that, but I think Kirk Cousins continues to ride high. I'm gonna lock this one in for the Falcons, and I'm gonna say they cover the spread too. Is there any chance that juice on the Panthers cashes this week?
No, not in my opinion. I think the Falcons are a really good football team. I think they're finding their ways. Kirk Chain's 500 plus yards last week, 4 touchdowns, come from behind win. I think he's just gonna roll this over into this against this weak Panthers team, especially this weak Panthers defense. And on the other side of the ball, Falcons have a great defense as well. I think Andy Dalton's gonna have a tough
Yeah, it's
week
gonna
as
be a tough
well.
day sledding.
No matter who they put at quarterback. I know Bryce Young came into that game late and made a few nice throws, but Falcons gonna be down there next the entire game. I don't think there's a chance the Panthers even keep this one close. I'm gonna go with the Falcons by double digits.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's going to be a tough day for Andy Dalton and co. He looked like the Andy Dalton that we kind of expected last week. So I think that the air might have came out of the balloon already.
Maybe
Um,
maybe you
no
can get
Adam Thielen though, no Xavier Leggett, and they didn't get Deontay Johnson going last week. So I don't know what they're going to do. Chuba Hubbard looked really good though. If that's a nice bright spot, they have Jonathan Brooks allegedly coming back within a couple weeks too. But I'm not buying in on this team at all.
no, not at all. Maybe Bijan can get in the end zone. I think he has 1 touchdown
No
this year
way.
so
That
far.
guy's allergic. He's
Yeah.
allergic. But I think that Drake London looks great. Kyle Pitts actually came back to life last game. That was nice to see too. Everybody did because he threw for 500. But Pitts looked pretty good. He started off with a big catch too. London's one of the top receivers in the league. He's very underrated. Mooney, another top underrated receiver that was once the one in Chicago before they brought in everybody else. Playing with a good quarterback now, he looks good. And then the depth too. Who was that? Hodge with the game-winning touchdown last week. That was pretty crazy to see. But getting into our Sunday night football game, kind of a lame matchup. Two teams I'm not too fond of personally. You know I'll be watching it though. The New York Giants host the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals coming in at 3.5 point favorites on the road, sitting at 1-4 after losing again last week. The Giants sitting at 2-3, plus 145 on the money line, over under at 47.5. Which way do you lean on this one?
I don't like the spread on either side. I think the Bengals are finding ways to lose games this week. On the other hand, Giants are playing pretty good football. They've been in some tight games. Haven't really had a bad showing besides that week one loss to the Vikings, who turned out to be a powerhouse in this league. I lean on the Giants. I think there's great value on them. And you can get them on the juice here. Not sure if Malik
I'm
Neighbors
not
is gonna
betting on
be.
the Giants
Oh
though.
no. Like I said, I don't like a side enough here to make a bet on it. What's the over under you said?
47.5.
I like a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown
Yeah,
prop.
me
I think
too.
he's been going off lately. He's kind of been carrying this team, even though they're sitting at 1-4.
T
He's not the
Higgins
one
as well. He's
carrying.
come to life the last 2 weeks.
Joe Burrow looked really good last week too. He put up 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
It
the
was a
3 of
really good
them,
effort
but
in
you
a losing
can't
in a
like,
losing.
what I've told you in the offseason, though, you can't win games, you can't get to the playoffs and win with just 3 guys. You can't tie all your money up in a quarterback and 2 receivers. They have no running game. I know Chase Brown looked decent last week, and Zach Moss looked decent weeks before, but they're not good running backs by any means. They have a weak O-line. They have bad secondary receiving within their tight end core, and then they have Yossi Vash, who's okay. Defense super weak besides Trey Hendrickson. Got to spread that money around. I don't think they're able to get done, but I love your play there with Jamar Chase to find the end zone again. But like I said, T. Higgins popping back off. You can go with their receptions or a touchdown for both of them. Maybe you take all that and it should hit. Joe Burrow looking pretty decent too.
Yeah,
Tough
more
way to end that game with that pick for Burrow to let the Ravens back in.
brutal. But yeah, I only like Joe Burrow, or I only like Jamar Chase here to get in the end zone. Gonna be more of a prop game. I do lean the Giants in the juice though.
Yeah, if Malik Neighbors is able to come back, would you look at any Neighbors or Wandale props? Without Neighbors, I love a Wandale prop because he gets the ball every play. But Tyrone Tracy looked good filling in for Singletary
Real
too.
good, yeah,
Daniel Jones looking all right, I guess.
decent.
He's
He's
not looking as bad as he did.
he still shows his Daniel Jones, but I mean he makes some big plays
You
too.
forget who he's even a quarterback in the league, so I guess that means he's doing pretty good because we don't hate on him so bad.
Yeah, you're not hearing enough about him, so he can't be doing that bad.
I think the Yinzers are going to be all over the Bengals in this one.
I think Huff will be. I don't know. I think you're gonna see a lot of money on those Bengals as well.
Really, people love them and just a big following. That'll be a crazy one though. Like you said, I think it's going to be a prop game for me too. Then on Monday Night Football, another divisional matchup, a very very important game. This one's massive for the division. The Bills are at 3-2 and the Jets are at 2-3. It's in MetLife Stadium, so the Jets are at home. The Bills are 2.5 point favorites. The Jets are plus 115 on the money line, and the total sitting at 40.5. I like the Jets on the money line here. I know we trust them. I know they've looked terrible, but Aaron Rodgers shows up in the prime time.
He
It's such a
didn't
tough
last week.
game. I know, but that's a different type of prime time. That's a unique situation. It's a fake game almost at 9:30 a.m. But Monday Night Football at home in a must-win game to even up the division. Can the Jets get it done? New head coach. A lot. Hoff likes to say this: when teams have a new head coach, the boys usually rally around them. They have a great running attack. I know that Hall hasn't been good this year, but him and Allen is a good duo. Garrett Wilson's good. Mike Williams, Allen Lazard, Ty Conklin, Aaron Rodgers. The defense, even though Sauce Gardner's a hold merchant. I think as of right now, I'm on the Jets money line, but my opinion may change because Josh Allen is a superhero at the quarterback position. Let me know what you think about this game.
Yeah, I do kind of lean on the Jets as well, but I'm probably not going to be betting it again. Josh Allen, I'm pretty sure his availability is going to be up in the air. I know he's not 100%.
He'll
Slammed his
play.
head really hard last week. Um, if it's up to him, he's obviously going to play. But
Yeah,
there's concussion protocols nowadays. So
he came back into that game.
yeah, but this is going to be a really good game. Obviously, it's in New York, right?
Yeah,
That's huge. These teams are going
where
to
they
be fighting
both
it
be in
out.
New York. It's in New Jersey, actually.
Jets are home, right?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think these teams are going to be battling it out to the end of the season. I think it's a huge one for the Jets to win at home. Got to win your home game between these two teams. But I lean on the Jets. Not very confident just yet.
most important game of the year for both teams to date. Four.
Definitely the Jets. Jets can't drop the 2-4. The Bills,
You don't
they're
want to be
three and
3 and
three.
3 though. You
You
don't
don't
want to be
want to be.
tied with them.
Obviously, it's not something you want, especially after starting the season 3-0. But
Three losses in a row too. Yeah. If the Bills lose
huge
this
game,
game, especially handedly, the narrative on that team is going to change big time.
huge game. But I think it means more for the Jets.
They're in a tough spot though, huh? They just had to play the Ravens in the prime time on the road. They had to go down to Houston, play one of the best teams in the league in the Texans. Now you got to go into MetLife Stadium on Monday Night Football against your rival Jets. Tough schedule, but I think that's going to be a great game. We'll get some plays out for that. Make sure you're tuned into our live stream on Sunday where we'll dive into the games even more, give our official picks and plays, fantasy lineups, and whatnot. But another great week of football here. We're in the bye weeks now, so a little bit shorter slate. But yeah, I'm ready to roll on this one. Mac, you have the power rankings up for this latest week? Let's see if we can rattle those off for the
Don't.
people
Let
real
me get
quick.
them real quick, though. Give me 10 seconds.
I got them right here for us. All right, so yeah, not too much changing. It's crazy. Oh, this is week 4. Never mind.
I got
That
him, I
never
got him,
mind.
I got him.
You got them. Yeah, let us know.
Kansas City coming in at 1, Minnesota Vikings coming in at 2, the Houston Texans coming in at number 3, Baltimore Ravens find their way back in at number 4, and the Washington Commanders make an appearance at number 5.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Commanders get some respect, huh?
Yeah, get their love. I mean, they deserve it for sure. They've been blowing out these teams, sitting at 4-1, one of the best records in the league. Have the quarterback playing with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They deserve that spot. Not sure how long they're going to stay there. This is a huge week for them, but give them their flowers while you can.
Yeah,
Other other
yeah.
teams
No,
here,
I agree. Other teams, I'm thinking of putting in there. The Lions, right? Lions.
Lions are
Yeah.
right there.
The Cowboys.
Nah, I think they're
This
sitting
is a
around
big game this week for
8 to
it.
10 right now. Yeah, huge game for it this week. There's a few teams you could definitely put in there. I know
The
the Bills.
Packers.
Bills have dropped 2 straight to 2 really good teams though,
I
so
think the Packers are a good football team too.
I wouldn't jump the gun on the Packers just yet.
Yeah, we got to see. This week's gonna be telling for a lot of teams. I told you the Ravens are gonna get back in there. You guys are hating on them so hard at the beginning of the year. I feel like I told my brother this. I said it feels like it
I hate
sucks
on them
because
no
I
matter
feel
what.
like I told him I said I feel like I'm a Ravens fan now only because it's crazy to me just because of how bad you guys bashed
You
them. I'm like,
are a Ravens fan right now. Your Patriots are irrelevant, so you jump to the Ravens
no, I'm
while
a
you need to.
Patriots fan for sure. If I had to jump to a team, it'd still be Kyle Shanahan and those guys. I like your Cowboys down there too, but it's just crazy to me. That's one of the top rosters in the league. If they were in the NFC, they'd be running the table. I think they're just little brother by Patrick Mahomes and co.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I admit to it. I know they beat my ass every time. I know I'm a big hater of them, but they're definitely a top,
Fun to
probably.
watch. Fun to
Yeah.
watch too. But yeah, let's get into some other sports here. The NHL has officially taken place. I know we had those European games last week between the Sabres and the Devils. I caught those, but they're at 1 o'clock on the NHL Network. Kind of hard to watch. Last night was the true opening night here in the States and in Canada. My Boston Bruins went into South Florida for the banner raising and got pumped, but that's kind of what you expect when you don't put in your Vezina caliber goalie that we paid $66 million for. But at least they paid Jeremy Swayman. I'm so hyped about that. Saw him sitting on the bench, so I'm not going to take that as a true game. We get our home opener on Thursday night. I'm excited to see how these Bruins look
Who do you got?
outside. We got the Canadians, so that should be a nice one with
Should win.
Sway. Yeah, with Sway in the net. You guys got your home opener here tonight, but a couple other games
Not
last
home.
night. Or yeah, your season opener tonight in Pittsburgh. Our boys are at that one right now. That'll be a good game. But the Utah Hockey Club, I don't know if you caught any of that. I watched that game. Arizona Coyotes looked good last night, and they should be because of how bad they've been recently and all those draft picks they had. Barrett Hayton, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Clayton Keller. Connor Ingram's is a good goalie. They brought in Sergachev for the blue line. They have Sean Dursey. I like a lot of the pieces that Utah has. Love the owner they got too. He was on in between the Bruins periods. They were interviewing him, PK and Messier, where um, he wants to build up Utah, put a rink in every town there, and get it into a hockey community too. He's a big basketball guy. Talking about how the ski resort can attract players, and he wants to make his experience for the team and their families, players, fans, one of a kind. So I'm expecting a great stadium to go up next to the Jazz Stadium. They're still playing where the Jazz are now, kind of racing to get that banner to the rafters. But I think they're going to have a successful season here. I think they might push for a playoff spot. You know, it gets weak in that West out towards the bottom. Their jerseys look really great. Hoping they get a true name for their team, even though Utah Hockey Club is kind of cool. Any thoughts on that one? They had a good opening night last night.
I didn't watch that game, but I know they won 5-2, obviously against the dump of the league in Chicago Blackhawks. Bedard had
Wearing their
2
hat
points.
right now. This is the only good thing about them is their logo.
Bedard had 2 points. Good start to his season, but yeah, this team looks pretty good. They look like that Vegas team looked like in that 2018 season, the inaugural season. They could be a sleeper this year.
I just like so much that young talent being put together. Like Gunther with 2 goals, Cooley with one. That power play, they have Michelli as well. There's just so many good young players that are about to flourish in that system where hockey actually matters and they're not in a college rink. Another early game that took place was Seattle and St. Louis. That game was kind of crazy. It was 2-0 Seattle, and then St. Louis came back and won that one. Justin Falk with a pair of assists, filling in for Torrey Krug on the blue line. Not too high on either of those teams, but like I said, I think that the new markets are going to get pushed by the NHL. A lot of people hating on my take on Instagram. I think
You
Utah
definitely
can.
you put some bait in there, didn't you?
Oh, a little bit of bait, a
We're
little bit.
reeling 'em in.
Yeah, a little bit. They always bite. They always bite. But I do think the Utah Hockey Club can push for a playoff spot. I
I do
call me
too.
crazy.
I
And
think
I
that they're
think the league props up these new teams though. Like take that caveat. The league props up these new teams to make sure that they're successful in their start.
Kraken weren't, but yeah, definitely Vegas.
I mean, the Kraken made the playoffs though,
No,
right?
not their inaugural.
But year
Second
2 and
second
3? Yeah,
year
yeah.
2, they definitely did, but inaugural season, they were pretty shitty.
Yeah,
And
different team because this is more of just an expansion of a market, but like I said, they have a lot of good talent. Um, a lot of good games tonight. I'm excited to watch the Oilers and the Jets. I know I have the Rangers on the puck line and the Leafs on the puck line tonight. I think they both blow out their easy matchups. But who knows? Penguins home opener, they might get some fireworks there.
some puck luck.
Yeah. But that dinosaur factory is on its way out. A lot of good stuff going on in the NHL here, though. Excited for a great year. We'll get our power rankings out to you next week. We'll dive into more of these games to see a little bit more. But excited to see Macklin Celebrini too, that new look Sharks team. I was like watching those new guys play. And then my boy Linus Olmark signed that contract extension. It's funny how he has the same exact contract as Jeremy Swayman, huh? Like 8.25. His is only 4 years, but
They extended him 4 years, yeah, right?
yeah, so that's a pretty good deal. I feel like the price is going up. Any news from you? Let's get some thoughts on the Igor Shesterkin holding out for 12 and not holding out, but
No,
turning down 12.5 million.
no, he turned down 11 mil. It was 8 times 88, but, he wants 12.5, which would
What do you think
absolutely
they're going to pay him? 12 and a
break
quarter?
the market. I don't know. I think they're gonna offer him, like, 11.7 next, see if he'll budge on that. 12.5 is crazy.
He's getting 12 though. He's getting 12, I think.
You're not gonna win a cup getting 12
No,
million.
it's a recipe for disaster.
You just saw how well he played in that last postseason. That was incredible, and they only got so far because that Florida Panthers roster, even with a goaltender in Bobrovsky, who's getting what was he getting 10 mil, I think.
Yeah.
Um, he's they were just too loaded for that and for that Rangers roster, and you're not gonna have a better roster if you're making $12.5 million a year. You got to load up the roster around you. You need 4 lines. You need to be deep. I'm not happy about Igor being this greedy. You're in New York. You saw Aaron Judge take a $50 million pay cut. You saw Dylan Brunson take a $150 million pay cut. Take a page out of their book. Both those teams look really good right now because they're able to spread their wealth a little more. NHL, the money doesn't go like that, so you definitely gotta be a little less greedy if you want to win something. But
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. You gotta
That's what I was saying. I was thinking the same thing. Don't these goalies that they want long-term deals? Don't you want a good team in
you
front of
want to
you?
win. You want to
Yeah.
win. Yeah, I mean you'll
But
make your
but
money, dude.
Igor is the best in the league. I think
Is
12 is
is the
no,
best
no,
in
no,
the league.
I think 12 is what he's gonna get, but I thought paying
How much
Swaim
better is
dude,
he?
no, dude,
How
dude,
much
I
better
thought
is he in
paying
Swayman?
not much, and he's not $4 million better than him.
2/3 of his or a third of his contract he'd be getting.
Dude, I was mad that we gave 8.25 before these years started. I said, most I give is like 7.5 to a goalie for that long. You wanna tie up your money? I
Listen,
know the cap is rising and stuff, but
Swayman's a top 4 goalie in the league.
yeah, eight and a quarter is really good.
If he's making 8.25 is great, but if he's making 8.25, you should not be making 12.5. I don't care how good you are.
The Bobrovsky 10 mil contract kinda screws you over.
Yeah. Yeah, but I
I'd
mean 11.7, dude, just take 11.7, 11.5, whatever.
He's taking 12. He's taking 12 and taking it to the bank. I don't think you guys are letting him go either because you love having a great goaltender there following Lundqvist's footsteps.
Big thing coming up though. Not gonna say we're gonna get him. Not getting my hopes up or anything. But McDavid's on a contract year as well. If the
Okay.
Rangers
Okay.
clear all this cap
Wayne
space.
Gretzky.
Rangers clear all this cap space. You might want to come over and play in the Big Apple. It's a pretty appetizing place to look at.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm excited for these Rangers though because they look poised in the preseason. They looked like the one team that was like ready to go from the
Yeah,
preseason,
big time.
and that's why I like them on the puck line here tonight. I think they might pump this Penguins team tonight, but who knows? Like I said, home cooking, Pittsburgh, tough place to play. We'll have a lot more in the NHL. Excited for that. We'll get our daily plays out for that. I got some on the card tonight, and we got some. I like that late night hockey. I don't know about you. That West Coast hockey. It's my favorite to watch. But the NBA is also kicking off here kind of soon. Our Knicks and Celtics taking on each other on October 22nd. We'll get into that banter. I think next week. You got one more week
Yeah,
before
we'll
that one
worry
tips
about
off.
that next week.
But Huff put in a note here about Bronny James. Huff, Bronny James is not relevant.
What did he even say?
LeBron James and Bronny James officially made their NBA debut
Oh, come
as
on.
father-son duo for the Lakers. LeBron continues to be LeBron, but can Bronny help this Lakers team, or is this just for TV? And if so, in what role? I think it's just for TV. Huff, you're playing along with the rest of the media here. We're talking about Bronny James here. Mid.
Yeah, no, especially not in his first year. I mean, maybe
He's
you
going
could
to be a
develop
rotation piece
something.
on the second unit.
He's also signed a dual or a what's that called? A
Two-way deal.
two-way deal, yeah, two-way contract. So he might not even be up for all the games, but I don't think he's gonna have an impact in his first season, let alone I don't know. I think he had a prop for it was like to Bronny James to score 25 plus points in any game, and I think it was like plus 550,000 or something like that because it's like
Watch, it'll be like game 81 when they're sitting
yeah,
everybody. Drops 40.
yeah, I don't know, but I don't think he's worth talking about just yet.
No, I don't think so either. But he'd be pretty cool if he does some stuff off the bench for him. Then jumping over the MLB, much more exciting stuff happening there. The wild card took place. Mackey's New York Mets knocked out the Milwaukee Brewers in iconic fashion. Was that game 3, I believe?
Game 3, yep.
Yep, game 3. Backs
Texas
against the
dog.
wall. The polar bear comes up to the plate.
Lindor
And
down the line, baby. Let's fucking go.
he's got the Mets head on. They're playing right now, so you got to accept that. He's fighting for his life against the Phillies. That's a great matchup between two NL East rivals taking place in New York, too, so not too far from where he's recording. But that team took out the Brewers. Then we had the Padres. They easily defeated their matchup. Who did the Padres end up playing? I think that was an easy one. They had the Braves, right?
The Braves, yeah.
Yeah, the Braves coming off that doubleheader. They died the day you guys beat them in the doubleheader, I think. I think you guys put the faith in them.
Lindor's home run absolutely took all the air out of that team.
Yeah, and I think they didn't have anything going for him, especially with Chris Sale.
Also running into the
Chris Sale
Padres.
getting banged up at the wrong time didn't help either.
Also running into the Padres, probably I think right now the hottest team in the league behind the Mets or right next to the Mets. Both those teams are rolling right now. They're gonna be really hard to beat. I know the Mets are in a banner right now, down 1-0. Had the Phillies on the brink, but if they can figure out a way out of this series, I think the Padres Mets series is gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I think both the Dodgers and Phillies will be tough outs here tonight. But I think whoever wins that Padres Dodgers series will go on to win the World Series. But going back to the AL here in the wild card round, the Tigers finally took out those Houston Astros who have been getting to the ALCS or the World Series. Seems like almost every year. So a lot of people happy in that sense. The Tigers seem like a team of destiny. They had less than 1% chance to make the playoffs, or less than 3%, something like that. Something very low. And they ended up getting in there. They had this AL Cy Young with Tariq Skubal. Now they're winning games. They won again today against the Guardians. This team, man, we're talking about hot teams in the playoffs. They might be able to get it done. And we kind of said all year long, whoever gets the Guardians, that's an easy out in the first round when you see them. So maybe that will ring true if the Tigers can upset them. We just didn't think it would be them doing it. And then you have the Kansas City Royals, who we kind of dubbed as one of the best wildcard teams on both sides early on in the year. They're doing their thing. Cole Ragans seems to win every time he pitches, and Seth Lugo is a great number 2. Bobby Witt Jr., one of the most electrifying players in baseball, probably the third best player in baseball behind Ohtani and Judge. He's playing great too, and they actually built up that lineup. Reminds me of the year they won the World Series where they're pretty deep with some good pitching as well. But they take on the Yankees here. 1-1 series playing tonight. Yankees choke artist. Huff's got him win the World Series, but Aaron Judge and his strikeout woes, playoff woes continue. Garrett Cole being haunted by the playoffs once again, even though they escaped with a win in game 1 when he pitched. I think all these favorites are sitting ducks right now, and it just depends how many can get through.
Yeah, they're kind of all on the brink right now. You got the Guardians on the brink. You got the Phillies and Dodgers, all 1 and 2 seeds. And the Yankees drop one tonight. I mean, all 1 and 2 seeds on the brink of elimination at that point. But that's the MLB playoffs. It's how it goes every single year. Teams get hot. It's a hot hand. Doesn't matter how the 162 games went. As long as you get to those playoffs, it's just whoever's rolling at that point. So you see this year in year out.
All the teams that could clinch too are all at home now too, which is crazy.
They're
Fernando
all
Tatis,
underdogs. Yep.
he's been on a tear, huh? I think he has one of the highest.
1.9 OPS going into game
I
4.
think it's his highest all time, right?
It said minimum 20 at bats, highest all time in the
In
postseason.
playoffs, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, he has lineup protection too. That lineup's so deep, I could rattle off names for you right now. No need to. Yeah, I will. Profar, Machado, Cronenworth, Bogarts, Merrill, and then obviously they have Tatis as well. So they have the pitching staff. Dylan Cease is going tonight. That's going to be a tough out.
Huge.
The Dodgers really got banged up with their pitching staff towards the end of the campaign. So it ended up being Walker Buehler, who was terrible since he came back from injury. He had to pitch last night and got shelled. And now they have Landon Knack, who's actually pitched great. Did Mets just score?
No, Vientos Great walk, great walk. First and second,
Alright.
nobody out.
Yeah, you gotta live for it. That's a good spot to
It was
be in.
down it was down 1 it was 1-2 count. You just fucking worked the count, and now you got on base. You got, Nimmo coming up right now. It's 1-0 bottom 5, 0 nobody out first and second, so, need something here.
Yeah,
First
like we
and second,
said, we'll
nobody
get the recap of the postseason here going. We have a lot of plays out. We have 3 out tonight, but we'll let Mackey get back to this game and continue watching the end of it. Hopefully, it ends in victory fashion for him to knock out his rival Phillies. But that's going to do it for us here this week. Make sure you tune in the socials for all of our plays. We got daily plays for the NHL. We got the MLB postseason plays. Assume we'll have the NBA daily plays in a couple weeks here. The NCAA card's been rocking. Mackey and Huff holding that down. Nothing too crazy, Mackey. Any quick shout outs for the NCAA for football that you want to give? Cam Ward, another electrifying win.
Bama going down,
Yeah,
Vandy's first win over a number 1 seed ever. I mean, it's something you're never gonna see ever again, especially after coming off a win against Georgia. That was absolutely massive. But, other than that, Texas looked a little more, uh, down to earth. They came down to earth last
mhm.
week. Ohio State, honestly, in my opinion, looks like the best team in the country.
What about
But,
Ashton Genty? Any thought on him? Could he push for that
I
Heisman?
I I think it's incredible that he's not the favorite right now, but it's just
Mountain West.
the number. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the competition he's playing against. But the numbers he's putting up are like, sorry, the numbers he's putting up are like nothing anybody's ever seen before. Last 3 Heisman don't even compare. I think he has
Yeah, I
like
saw that
600
Ingram
more
and
yards,
Henry.
5 more. Ingram, Henry, and Reggie Bush, the
Yeah,
last 3, and they just like it doesn't even come close. Obviously, Power 5 conferences different than the Mountain West. You get to play Utah State every other week, so
yeah.
it's pretty nice. But I mean, this guy is just absolutely unbelievable. And if he continues putting up these numbers, then I mean, dude, he was minus 155 to score 3 touchdowns, and he hit. He hit it. It's just like the stats are just nothing you've ever seen before, but it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of good stuff coming out of there. We'll keep our eyes on that as well. And we'll get our NFL plays out. I know you guys are really hyped for those. Tune into the live stream, though. Those have been popping. A lot of great questions, a lot of great people. Over 1,000 listeners there last week. But we got a lot going on. Hope you guys are following along for the ride. Exciting week of sports ahead. Thanks for tuning in and catch you next week.